fire. NDP went out once, and we received mutual aid once for fire and once for NDP, which was a second call in the district. Any questions on any of that stuff?
No, it's a nice low mutual aid number this month.
Yep.
Appreciate that. Okay.
Other than that, I don't have a whole lot other than do you need me to bring up the
Yes.
fires?
So Dom's identified 4 new members for the fire department: Stuart Burns Jr., Sean Kirkland, Justin Tomasulo, Jody Swart. Want to comment about them?
The first 3 are new members. One was the husband of our first Lieutenant Kelly, who ran the
Greater Lights.
Greater Lights.
Yep.
And Jody Swart is how long has she been in the auxiliary?
25.
She's been in the auxiliary 25 years
Oh,
and decided to make a move over to do fire police.
Nice.
So,
Very good. All right. So can I get a motion from the board to accept these new members so that we can have them covered by our liability insurance? And a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, good. So they're officially accepted into the, well done.
yep. And we just have one new application that just came in.
Jeez.
And Jay Higgins moved.
Oh, that's right. Jen Hughes was already in there, moved over to,
Yeah, he put in an application to the rescue squad to do
I
that.
think this past year you've had a lot of.
you're
Yeah,
actually right.
We've been above average.
Yes,
Throughout
it's
the
been
county.
huge.
One
Like I
member
said,
joins and then they talk to their friends, you know?
Great. That's really good news.
like I said last month, I'm running out of turnout gear, and it's the best problem I could have.
Yeah.
Um,
Let's talk about finances, by the way. Last month you talked about the $10,000 to get the new 911
Yes.
software, as well as the need to put new tires on. We had a discussion, so talk about that.
Yep. So Matthew, for the Red NMX program, the new text messaging program, they also offer the option of upgrading our way overdue software for reporting to the state and other tracking that we have to do in the firehouse. And that cost was $10,000. Matthew has kindly offered to put one of his projects on hold so we can move forward with that.
Kindly, huh? Very good. Kindly.
I'll be putting it in next year's budget.
Yeah.
I'm sure you will.
But he has agreed to delay that project so we can get this going, hopefully before the beginning of the year, to minimize any more paperwork of actual paper, and hopefully digitalize everything, save a whole lot of man hours
Yeah,
on
right.
that. But as long as you guys are okay with Matt delaying this project to let me do that,
Absolutely.
then I will be moving forward with that.
Okay, now the tires?
The tires, Kevin got me some prices. Came up to be about 4,500, 4,700 range. From 2 vendors that the village already has accounts with. The tire number that I gave you originally, I based off of a tire that we had to replace in the spring. And that one cost $1,000, so that's why different tire, whole different price range for this one apparently. So that's why it came in much lower than what I was anticipating. But we were.
I said we would tuck that in, we'll figure out how to solve that.
So
You
it's
took care of
it's
the
okay.
10,000, you did the 5,000, right?
So we can okay that. And
Yes.
then,
I did okay, right? So
Yeah.
okay, good.
so,
Tires on vehicles, like police cars, it's like a no-brainer.
yeah,
right?
they were holding up great, and then all of a sudden this
Yeah.
summer they just started.
Try it out.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. All right,
That's all I've got.
all right. Matt, Kevin?
I'm good.
I gotta tell you, the Cradle Lights I thought went very well. I know there were some issues there, but overall I thought the parade was well run. The crowd was lower than usual, but they were well behaved, I thought.
They were well behaved. It was pretty cold
Yeah,
for a few people at home.
And I was told that there was only one float that threw candy. Is that true?
Second to last float.
Is that right?
Oh,
I was thinking we were gonna have 100%, and someone with a bucket kind of went, "Hello," you know. I was like, "No, no, no."
Well, okay, but if it was only one float, they threw a lot of candy from what I've seen along the streets. So anyway.
there was one for throwing stuffed animals out.
Yeah, saw that.
Okay.
Couldn't believe that one. But
That was a new
no,
one.
other than that, we're gonna have a critique in a couple of weeks about what went well and what didn't go well, and
All
I'm
right.
sure we'll be calling
Yeah.
you
And I
guys.
think you'd like to
village.
participate in that. All right, I think Peter and I would like to join that. Yeah, Pat too.
Yep.
All right.
I'll let you guys know.
The other thing I want to say is that whoever did the sign, the electric sign, did a really nice job of, it was really easy to read that sign. 5 lines, well worded out, it was well done. I just was impressed with the way they were able to put the wording on to announce the parade of lights. So,
That would have been Ted. He took care of that one.
Is that
I was
right?
busy setting that one up.
all right, good. All right, any questions for the fire rescue?
I do, I have one thing actually, Tim.
Yes.
I also want to thank you and Mike and Vicky for their outstanding service to the fire department in your years as mayor and the board. Thank you.
You're very welcome, Matt. You're very welcome. I really appreciate what you guys do for us, so.
I had just one comment, and that was I wanted to particularly thank Ethan because for the first time since I can remember in terms of the parade, the village had a float.
Oh, yeah.
So way to step up and put your time in and everything else, and especially since we never had a float even when we sponsored. Congratulations and thank you.
The guys and myself had fun decorating the truck and getting it ready. So.
They look good.
Yeah, it looked good. It was nice to see us represented, so yeah, thanks.
And you clean all the birds off.
Pigeons are still a problem.
By the way, I'm gonna send this down to you. We had the old Silverado taken off the insurance, but there's a 2016 Silverado.
Yes.
Well, who's that? Because you've got the 2019, that's yours.
No, that's mine.
That,
Well, whose is the
that is a
2023?
brush
That's
truck.
the brush truck that's sitting downstairs.
Ah, I got it. Okay, fine.
Yeah, we have two 018
Got it.
pickup
Okay,
trucks.
good. Because I was happy to have saved $800 with the insurance and find out why have I got a third pickup here? Okay,
No.
I understand. Okay, good. Anything else for fire rescue?
No,
Thank you, guys.
Yep.
Okay, chief.
Aaron too.
Oh, she is here. Oh, you snuck in. Okay, so chief, can you hold on here for a minute?
Absolutely.
All right, so Aaron Moore, come on up. Can you have a seat here so people watching from home can see you? Aaron Moore is the vice president of Ty and Bond, which is the engineering firm that we've hired to oversee our $9.6 million upgrade to the wastewater treatment plant. And I asked her to come and give us an update on both the finances as well as the technical aspects of the project. So Aaron?
Thanks so much, Tim. And sorry, the last 2 times we've met have been at the actual village hall.
Oh, Mike's familiar with this. Go ahead, Mike.
So I really apologize.
That's no problem.
And it was an interesting drive over. So,
Okay. Well, thanks for taking it here.
thanks so much. So if just to recall, there is a substantial project required at the wastewater treatment plant. The New York State DEC has upgraded the permit requirements, which means the effluent quality that must be produced from the plant that is governed by a permit, and they have instituted a new permit which has some components less on quality of what's involved, but more actually on the operation of the plant. That must be in compliance. The plant must be operating by May of 2028. So it's a pretty substantial project. And so there's 7 parts to the project. I'm going to very quickly describe. 5 of them occur sequentially, and they're more of the engineering technical tasks. And then we're still waiting for comments on that report. There's 2 different groups involved. One is called EFC. They're the Environmental Facilities Corp, and they are the funding agency. So that's essentially they're considered the funding arm of New York State DEC. That's the other group, and that's the regulatory. So DEC is Department of Environmental Conservation, though that's the regulatory branch. They both provide comments. We get them, we address them, and move on. While we still don't have those comments, both informally have given us a rundown of the comments. None of them have any substantial real impact to the design intent. So from that stage, our outstanding tasks include getting the comments, addressing the comments, and returning the report back to DEC and EFC. The second step is preliminary design, and that's really what we're trying to get to the end of now. While we don't have comments on the report, there's these several tasks which we must do regardless to be able to design a plant upgrade. And that's geotechnical evaluation, survey, hazardous material survey. And so yesterday we got the survey. That's great. We're expecting the geotechnical evaluation next week, which is really impactful at this site because understanding where bedrock is means really directs how it all flows downhill, right? So do we need a pump or can we let it all flow? And we're waiting for that final report. And those are going to be able to wrap it up. We've started in February. Through a draft basis of design report, which is really a report that says each process component of the plant is going to be based on these technical items. Immediately, we take that, we send it off to DEC. And that is because two specific unit processes, it is great to choose them ahead of time. So the next time I'm anticipating, and I'll happily come anytime you want me here. I'm so glad it's not raining, you know, because then I'd rather be like, do you know those emergency like stayover rooms? Like I'd be camping out here. It's coming down so hard. But the two different pieces of equipment, they're pretty significant and they're really going to impact the next stage, which is final design. So what we want to do is a pre-procurement specification. It's pre-selection. So we're just going to choose explicitly what equipment to use for the design, but it allows the village to get a competitive bid. And that's what you want to maintain control prices. So next stage, stage 3, final design. So we know what process equipment we're using. We complete drawing the specifications so the village can go out to bid. And then we give it to DEC. We're expecting to be complete in October. DEC typically takes 4 to 6 months to review and approve. So we wait for them to come back and say, yes, build it. Go out to bid, step 4, and build it, step 5. So that's sort of the engineering arc that we're on. And so we are almost done with preliminary engineering. If we could get them to give us a letter, we're hoping for by Friday to have the comment letter. We'll be able to turn that around really quickly since informally we kind of know what the comments are. And then preliminary design, I'd say at the 80% mark. So we've got the rest of those 3 stages to complete. So that's the engineering driven activities. So there's 2 other activities going on. The permit I spoke of, it's in its draft phase, but they need to issue the final permit. In order to issue the new permit, we've got to provide them an updated application, an updated schedule, some additional water quality samples that I know have been collected already, and the revised engineering report, which we can't do until you can see sort of the interwoven complexities here. So we believe all of these, unless they hold on to this comment letter, can be submitted back to DEC by January 15th. So that's going to be upon us very quickly. It should be a quick turnaround time. Based on discussions with DEC, we expect then that new permit to be issued by the end of March or early April at the very latest. And that's the same time they're going to give us our approved engineering report. So that's the plant permit process, which is going on at the same time. Then the EFC funding process. So of the 7 parts, that's our final part. So Environmental Facilities Corp. I think everyone or most of the board should know there was a substantial grant awarded to the village, and also the village has been awarded hardship financing. So that's 0% loan, which is excellent. That's great. So EFC funding takes 4 to 6 months to close from the date of the approved. So this is the most critical report, clearly, preliminary engineering report, and we're still waiting on those comments back. So again, assuming we're anticipating it end of March, early April. So by October, that means the village will have financing in place through EFC. So what does this mean from the, before I go, we'll just keep going and then on any questions anyone has. So what does this mean to the village from a funding perspective? So as we previously, the step we're on is design. not construction. 100%, by the time we get there, funding will be in place. We've been in a lot of discussions with the funding agencies and DEC, and that's not a question. EFC is notorious on taking this huge time to close, so that's a normal thing. Previously presented to the village board, the budgeted design fee is $572,000, and there's 2 stages. I mentioned them: preliminary design, final design. So the village already completed a ban,
Yeah.
for preliminary design. So that was $212,800. And that, again, a lot of subconsultants involved, and that work's gonna be complete in February. So to keep moving, temporary funding is gonna be required for final design, and that's $359,200. And that's gonna be complete in October, same time as the EFC funding should be available, if not earlier. They gave a 4 to 6 months, so that's the 6-month time period, the more conservative. And at that point, any temporary short-term funding can roll over into the EFC funding package and then proceed from there. And with that funding package, the short-term financing, there's no payments due from the village on that short-term financing until the improvement's complete, and then it goes into operation. And then it rolls into what's called the long-term financing. At that point is when the village is responsible for paying that back.
So the village will put up front $600,000 to engineering town,
Yes.
and when EFC approves the funding, we'll get all that back.
It'll roll, yes, it
It'll
rolls
come
into
back
that.
immediately.
So those, I'm not the funding lawyer,
Okay.
but historically, in my experience with this, that you're able to pay off those debts right away, and then it's rolled into.
Okay.
And we cleared this process with the first request for preliminary design with EFC.
Mhm.
So they're very familiar that the village is keeping this process.
So just so
moving.
the board knows, the way it works is we've got a grant to get a 0% loan on the remaining. What happens is EFC pays for everything up front, and then they start billing us for the principal on the balance due after they've taken off the grant.
Correct.
So in other words, we don't, as a village, have to pay any money until the project is completed, other than this upfront funding we need to do. And what we just heard is that in addition to the $300,000 ban that we approved a few months ago, we need to go and get another $300,000 so we can keep the design work going. Is that clear, everybody?
Yep.
Okay. So we'll work on that. I just got an email from you today. I just forwarded it to Karen, to Sarah. We'll huddle with Peter as well. Just talk about how we can orchestrate that. And as you saw, we have to have that funding in place by March, so we don't lose any impetus here.
Yeah, and that will keep us going.
Yeah,
The-
okay, fine.
I'm optimistic. They haven't come out yet. So there's another grant which the village has applied for. Given the level of engagement with DEC, I'm feeling that it's definitely not a grant to be written off, but that is what's called the WQIP grant.
Right.
And so everyone would remember to come to the board and
Mhm.
ask that permission to authorize that. So that was what was back in July. They have not announced that. So that is the water quality improvement grant. That is actually not decision by EFC. That is a purely DEC grant. And given the scope of what's happening here and what's trying to be accomplished at the treatment plant, I would like to think the village is in a very strong position for that grant, but none of them have been announced yet.
Mhm.
So the Water Improvement Act grant, that's the grant that the village has received already,
Right.
and WQIP's not out yet, so.
Right. But we're assuming we're gonna get it, because if we do get WQIP as well as the WE, which we already have, we still end up with a $5 million loan that the village has to pay off over 30 years.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Which means we would need to work on finding additional sources. Otherwise, village sewer rates are gonna go 50% in 4 years. Okay. We said this before, I can't say it enough. But that's the facts.
And we'll continue to pursue funding.
Yeah, right.
Because there's still there should be BIL funds, which is the bipartisan infrastructure law, not act, the idea then,
Mhm.
law. And at the time the original application occurred, the the total scope of the permit implications on the plant were not known. Certainly, when that opens again in the spring, EFC's open to a conversation about
Right,
that.
good.
If there's a way to look afresh and understand now the elevated requirements
Mhm.
from the village. In comparison to the first time a report was submitted by our predecessors, which the full scope of what was being asked for from the village wasn't understood at the time, so.
Okay.
So those are our two additional funding sources that we're making sure that the village is on top of. We'll keep pursuing those funds.
Oh, good. Anything else?
That's it for me.
Any questions from the trustees?
Just a quick question, do we have to make contact with Pat Ryan or anyone at the federal level, ourselves? And if so,
We'll be doing that.
So, absolutely, the next opportunity will be in the spring.
Right.
When it's called the intended use plan, when we go back to them to have that discussion. We definitely want to emphasize how important this is and how necessary for the village. So that will be tends to open in the spring. It's June. I think June is the date that we need to be on that list and discuss that. So.
All right, good. Any questions from the audience about this? It's a very big project for the village. And probably this will be done in many years.
How many years till we can?
It's going to be over like 2028 is when it'll be up online. Now and then. Okay, good. Karen, thanks for coming.
Thank you so much.
So we'll be in touch.
I'm gonna float home now.
Okay. Okay, just one thing I forgot to mention. We just saw a notice, I think, this week about New Year's Eve Millbrook is happening again. Sponsored by the Rotary Club and MAG. I think there's literature and flyers flying around, and I think Chief, we'll be asking you for additional help there on the event. Just mainly for people crossing Franklin Avenue as they go between the churches and other places. It's a nice event, and really good support. So I'll call you out there. Okay, so Chief, let's go to the police report.
So for the month of November, we experienced 144 calls for service. Give everyone an opportunity to go through that. Nothing really unusual. Questions about anything?
No.
So like I said, nothing unusual there. In development, no forward progress really, or no major changes, I'll say. We're still researching to identify an RMS replacement system. The new fleet vehicle is out for graphics. When it comes back, we'll send it in for equipment upfit and hoping to have it on the road in January. Under new business, we partnered with Carfax for Police, which provides investigative tools, digital solutions, and crash reporting for officers. There's a couple of real benefits there. The one is we get record requests from insurance companies all the time for motor vehicle accidents and things like that we handle. And typically, they come into the department, we have to review them, find the records, and send them out. One thing that Carfax does is it does all of that for us for free. So instead of insurance companies contacting us, they go through Carfax. They get a fee that comes back to the police department for disseminating the report. People can view it for free. So the insurance companies actually get a copy of it, so they'll pay the $15, which will come back to the village. The other benefit is it offers investigative tools for the officers. So let's say they respond to a hit and run accident and somebody has a partial plate and a description of the vehicle. The officers can take that information, plug it into Carfax for Police, and then give them a list of options of vehicles that fit that criteria, which is a real benefit to help us close out those cases and find the person who left the scene. There's some other investigative tools that assist too, but those are really the main points that will really help us.
Nice.
So that's that. The second thing is we've also partnered with the National Child Safety Council.
NCSC is a nonprofit organization, it was established in the 1950s. They founded the Missing Children Milk Carton Program nationally. And one of the things that they do is they provide free educational material, in this case, to the residents of Millbrook on child safety, also for senior safety, and there's information for to help keep teenagers safe and how to keep your home safe and how to protect your children from some of the onslaught of internet activity that they can be involved in. So the education material is really important. The way it works is, and I'll send some of this around so you can see it. The way it works is that they will, NCSC on behalf of the Village of Millbrook Police Department will contact businesses, and businesses that are interested can donate to NCSC, and they use those funds to support the publishing of these records. So this education material that the police department, you come to the police department, will be able to give out to the residents, different things to some of the senior groups, and it's just really good information. If you look at the back cover, it gives a listing of all the businesses that donated, so they get credit for being involved in the program. And it sends a message on the front inside cover, that this was a project that's the police department's working in partnership with NCSC to distribute this education. The last item is training. As of December 1st, all sworn members of the police department have been trained and qualified in department issued firearms. That's all I have for November.
All right,
That's all I have for November.
all right. And this report, this is the next, this report detail, this is just more detail from the previous page. This one here.
I would like to acknowledge the assistance of Officer Ken Roman from the Village of Millbrook Police, Troopers Andrew Patterson and Kyle Smith from the State Police, in their efforts to assist with traffic control during the parade of lights. I'd like to acknowledge their efforts.
Okay. All right, any questions for Chief Rook?
One quick question, and that is, have we adjusted different patrol routes based on posting in 25-mile-an-hour signs in
Oh, good question.
streets? Or how are we dealing with introducing that change in general public?
So what we're going to do is we're going to give out warnings for the first month or so so people get an opportunity to feel out and adjust to the change in the speed limit. And then we'll continue to do what we've done in the past, which is we have these 2 speed counters, which provide traffic surveys for the agency. We'll put those out in different areas around the village. We'll be able to see, when the surveys come back, we'll be able to see how effective the speed limit size changes have been and where we need to direct focused enforcement throughout the village.
Any questions from the public for Chief Rook? Yes.
The child safety program, have you thought about partnering with the school district? Because some of that material could be given out.
We can certainly do that. I'd be happy to coordinate with the school
Yeah,
district. Sure.
especially like help drive as the new kids are coming to school,
Good time to do it.
I think that, their first open house or kindergarten registry, orientation, whatever, would be a great time to have your presence there and meet there.
Yes, ma'am. I think that's a great idea. I think working with the library could be an essential way to get the information out to the public as well. But thank you for that.
Any questions?
Yeah, so I walk to work early in the morning, every morning. And I know we had, 44 at some point blocked off, more people were coming through the village and speeding through. A lot of trucks, construction workers, and it's around, I'm probably going around 7:30 in the morning when I'm getting over to work on Franklin. A lot of roadkill, which is probably indicative driving too fast. I've had to guide trucks, and usually it's right around the post office. Are you going to be putting up those little how fast you're going signs right by before the post office when they're coming in? Because they will gun it all the way to the bank of Millbrook.
So what I would say about traffic enforcement throughout the village, the best way for us to handle that is for people to contact the police agency and file traffic complaints with the department. We will keep a file of those traffic complaints, and that helps us identify the areas where people have the biggest concerns. Then what we can do is do the traffic surveys to identify the specific hours when these speeding issues are at their worst. So we don't have officers sitting out there and, I won't say wasting time, but their time could be better spent somewhere else where we can really focus on the hours when it's a problem. And it gives them an opportunity to spread the manpower throughout the village that way as well, where, you know, if 7 to 8 is a problem on 9 Partners Lane versus 8 to 9, you know, on another road in town, it gives us focused enforcement, which will really help us address the problem.
Okay, I'll do my due diligence on that. Also, there was a woman crossing from the post office as well, same area I'm talking about. She was hit, she was hospitalized, and she's in not in good shape because people were driving too fast by the post office.
I can tell you that that was not a speed issue.
Okay.
That was other vehicle related.
Okay.
But I understand, and the best thing that I can say is everybody has my email address, it's on the website. Please send me your complaints directly, we'll create a report and we will deal with it.
Okay, great.
If
Thank
you
you.
can get a full report for that instance.
Yes, we do.
Yeah. When roughly will that be, would you say, based on?
Hoping to have the vehicle on the road in January, it's all about when the equipment comes in. I haven't got notified that it has come in yet, but should be in this month.
Okay.
And by the time they get the upfit done, we should have the vehicle on in January.
All right,
We can
good.
turn around the other vehicle in no time on the auction.
Yeah.
2 weeks, we should.
All right, good. Anything else? Okay, Supervisor Kelly. Now I gotta tell you, we need to do something about these charts. You need a bigger font, bigger pages.
We're just less detailed too.
Well, less details, that's just a good suggestion. My eyes can't take this anyway.
We need glasses over here.
Microscope. Go ahead.
So the month of November was pretty much filled up with leaves. We're averaging probably close to 6 to 8 loads of leaves a day, and the leaf box holds almost 8 yards. So a lot of leaves throughout the season. We did some maintenance on the discharge pipe that cracked about first or second week in November. So we had to change that, put a new throttle cable on it, did some repair basin work on Church Street. There's a couple holes in some of the basins. We put some brickwork, hard work in it. After we saw that, there was a couple potholes along adjacent to the catch basins that we patched in. After seeing that, I ended up taking a ride around the village and started to make a catch basin repair list on stuff that needs to get patchwork or basins replaced, or cracked in half, things along that nature.
By the way, that storm drain, it's not ours, it's on Franklin by the gas station. Looks like it's collapsed. That's not ours, but could you notify DEC?
Or this DOT.
DOT,
Yeah,
right, got
yeah.
They were out
DOT.
there not too long ago.
Well, they fixed the one over there by most. Remember that the big orange bill was there most of the summer, and they finally fixed that one.
Yeah,
But I think one by the gas station is.
Settled again. They did something with it last year, I remember.
Oh, was that right,
Yeah,
just last year?
Last year.
That was across the street,
Yeah.
right in front of the.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Oh, by the
that
bus
one
stop.
by the
By
gas
the bus
station's
stop.
bad though.
That one.
Yeah.
So could you follow up with them, just, all
Absolutely.
right, good, appreciate it. All right, go ahead.
We put up all the Christmas trees, helping out the Village of Millbrook Business Association. I believe we put up 68 trees
Sound
throughout
about
the
right.
village. Put up all the Christmas decorations throughout the village. And that's the leaves were nice and dry. We sucked out all the ditch lines and all the curbs because we're gonna get a big rainstorm in the middle of November, so I wanted to make sure none of the catch basins got plugged up or
Good.
anything along those lines. Got all the snow equipment ready. Did a whole bunch of routine maintenance. Checked all the hydraulic hoses, changed all the cutting edges on all the plows, made sure all the flight chains on all the sanders were working properly and not rusted, so we weren't having anything snap in the middle of the snowstorm. And then our new flammable liquid storage cabinet got delivered a couple weeks ago, so we can have all of our oils, spray paint, gas cans, and everything will be compliant with the insurance company.
Actually, that's good timing because the OSHA audit is Monday. Everyone knows that, Scott? Right, so we'll do the same whatever year, starting around 10 o'clock, 10:30. All right, I appreciate your support.
And then just to touch on something that the chief of working said, we changed all the speed limit signs in the village from 30 miles an hour to 25. Put up 9 new signs off of Franklin Ave, coming off the state road. You can see it on Church Street, Friendly, North, Maple.
Good deal. You guys did that fast too.
Yep.
We
Stays
said-
good.
And you're gonna work with chief on the snow ordinance.
Yep, snow ordinance took effect on December 1st, so hopefully no one parking on the street between 12 and 6.
I guess there are some people that at least they have a process you guys will work on.
Yeah, Merritt, Friendly, Reservoir, and going up to schools. Yep. All, thank you, was an issue.
It's just important for people, even when it's not snowing, if you need to be out there putting salt down, people who have their cars in the street
Mhm.
are gonna get hit with salt,
Yeah.
salt. 'Cause you gotta have salt to roads for the safety of people, and therefore it's for their good to get their cars off the street. Even when there's no snow.
Just like that first snowstorm we had on the 22nd of November, we were only calling for dusting and ended up with 5 days.
Well, okay, that was it, yeah. But you guys go out, when it's just, rain turned to ice.
Yep. Or even
Maybe
if it's
tonight.
just dusting, it's like it happened on Sunday morning, it was 3 o'clock in the morning, and
All right.
it was just dusting, but I drove in here and I slid across the intersection of Church Street, it was a little slick.
All right. Like I say, so far you guys are right on top of it, so.
Trying.
Good work.
See.
Any questions for Supervisor Kelly?
I'd just like to make a
Yes.
note. I worked with the committee that decorates the Christmas trees, and it was noted much of an effort to putting them up, putting them straight. It was a marked difference, so thank you.
I'm sorry,
I appreciate it.
we can't hear.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, never mind, I understand.
She was complimenting the highway department putting up the trees
Sorry,
and
I-
decorations for the building.
Yeah, they were. Good comment.
Questions from the audience for Supervisor Kelly? Yes.
Even the leaves were amazing this year, thank you so much.
You're welcome. The weather helped big time with that being dry, so we were able to.
Franklin Avenue looked great, they're like lilies, so thank you very much again.
I think they were making a round every day. It
Great,
seemed like to me.
great, thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Okay, let's move on. Water and sewer. Scott. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, the water formed well sampling and maintenance, replaced 2 fire hydrants, one on Maple Avenue, one on Franklin by the library. And we replaced 1 water.
You guys did the Franklin Avenue replacement. What was the holiday? What day was that? But you did it like in
No,
6
that
hours.
was the manhole in the ceiling.
Oh, it was a man. That's right. I'm sorry. I wasn't sewer. All right. Any questions for Scott for water? You're the trend.
Move that fence for you? I haven't been over there to look, to be honest.
Not yet.
That's the Mike caught it as he walks.
Yeah, Michael's everything. So they have-
I walk past the fence every day and it's exactly what it was. I was gonna ask you if you and Tim had gone to visit the ownership.
No, but Ken talked to him.
Contacted him.
I'll follow up with Ken, find out where he's at.
Yeah, I mean,
They-
at this point.
No, it's not happening this year.
Actually, Ken said he told them by spring.
Yeah, that's,
All right.
we're not gonna be doing that.
Yeah, right.
I mean,
If there's an emergency, you're right. It's your
yeah,
problem.
there are other ones not that far away.
Okay.
They'll just break the fence.
I'm sorry?
Or that, exactly.
They'll just break the fence if there's an emergency.
That's true. That's
She's
right.
all fix that.
Chainsaw.
Sure. Quick solution.
Okay.
They have the equipment to do that, so.
I think every plumber has a chainsaw. That's how they cut through the wall and things. Anyway. Any more questions for Scott? Okay, sewer.
All right, again, all sampling and maintenance was performed. The land testing was on site to do the geotechnical stuff that Aaron mentioned before. We repaired 2 manholes on Church Street, one, as you mentioned, at the, on the traffic light. And repair a hole at the sludge.
All right. And here's the trend. You see a little more rain.
See more rain past few days when we did.
Right.
last 3 months.
And, Aaron already discussed the speedies permit, right? So anything else you want to add about that? No?
It's-
All right, any questions for Scott regarding the sewer? Anybody in the audience, sewer questions? Moving right along. Okay, Sarah.
All right, so for building, we issued 8 building permits, 1 certificate of use, 1 certificate of occupancy, 1 certificate of compliance, 2 municipal searches. Total fees collected $1,687.16. Planning and zoning is pretty active. They have a public hearing for 2 projects, both accessory apartment site plans. 108 Franklin and 24 North Ave, and that is set for the 16th, which is Monday. And then they cleared House of Steffes for their generator and they were approved. And we're gonna start hopefully getting Justin ready to take this over.
Is that for the first of the year or
Yeah, I believe it's,
first of the year?
that's what I heard.
Yeah.
Yeah, for January.
Okay.
And then for short-term rentals, we had a final notice, once for someone to make an application for 54 to 58 Front Street.
Okay,
Just on that, that's pretty much the outstanding one.
Yeah.
Everyone else has either made an application and been approved or removed their
Listen,
SDRs
Yeah.
from Airbnb
All
or
right, great.
platform, so.
Peter, I was just curious, what's our total now back to SDR that are available?
It's definitely underneath the cap. It's probably, I'll have to look, I didn't bring it.
I'm gonna
It's
say
probably,
it's a little under 10.
yeah, I would say 8 maybe.
Yeah,
8.
that sounds right. And I see you're on top of getting the members of the board up. Those terms are expiring.
Yes.
That's good. Any questions for Sarah regarding the voting report? Okay. Bank balances?
Yes, here are our bank balances for the month of November. I don't know if you have any questions, it's
No, but so the
pretty much
money still hasn't moved out of like the HNL trust for the redoing of the storm drain? All that's gonna be cleared out, right?
Yes, so that Newmont stock I had put in there, it's not reflected there, it was very beginning of this month, so.
You sold the
There's,
stock in it.
yeah, so there's like about 8 grand in there now.
Okay,
And then, I believe we only just paid the last bill, is it, it's all ready to go, like the project's all.
we paid the
That's
last
all,
one.
yeah, Tim was paid last month,
Okay,
like a couple days after the last meeting.
So there's 16,000 that's not
Yeah.
gonna be covered by chips, so we're gonna use money from HNO plus the Southern Newmont stock
right,
and plus some residual Tribute Garden
right,
funding.
right.
Okay,
And then when I make, on the next page, I make application to CHIPS for this project.
all right, I'll just go there.
Yeah, it'll be short that 16,000, but that's where we'll make that up.
Oh, this, okay, good. And you see the New York class yield is down to 4.5, 4.56, so it's dropping.
It's dropping. Yep, so I did submit the CHIPS reimbursement, for Maple Ave. I did that on the 8th of November. And then sent the unpaids to Dutchess County, so that was 6, and that's $12,535.80.
All right,
We
good.
should be collecting in about, I think April, end of March, April area. I had to revise the sidewalk project application. It was missing something, I'm not sure, but we got that done. So, so that's $20,000, and I say by the 13th.
All right, so they came through with the final $20,000.
Yep.
That's all the $20,000 grant from Dutchess County.
Correct.
Good.
Yep. And I just explained the Newmont stock, and then I have the 2 resolutions.
All right, let's go to the resolutions.
Mayor, do you have anybody have any questions on the resolutions we prepared for you tonight? I mentioned like.
Oh, you have to run, that's right. So,
Got the 2 ones for the bands.
so the bans are pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Let's skip those.
Yep.
And let's go to, we have a public hearing
Yep.
for the adoption of the NRI into the local adoption of the NRI into the local law.
Yep.
Is there a seeker in there? It's a seeker, right? There's no-
That's right.
Okay,
There's no, it's type 2 seeker.
type 2, right.
Type 2, so you don't have to go through the full process of review, there.
Yeah, and
One
then
of
what's
the
the fourth one?
And then, let's see, the new district.
Oh, yeah, the RE district.
The 8 lots.
Can we start with that one? That's the one that's of most interest. So that's a resolution.
Yep.
All right, so how do I do that, Sarah?
Let me just click on it.
All right, so, Peter, why don't you lead the discussion on that?
So
The
as
resolution for the, parliamentary.
as we've been discussing the last few months, certain parcels, specifically all the parcels east of Valley Farm Road from Sharon Turnpike to the village line are in the RLD district. Based on analysis of, those parcels and the other zoning areas in the village, it's been deemed that they are more appropriate in the RU district, which has more stringent zones. So, I worked with Ken and Josh and his team to propose this change, this zoning change.
Okay, so it's a resolution. Why don't you make a motion
I'll make that motion.
in a second?
I'll second.
Okay, so Josh, just give us any more highlights about other than what Peter said.
No, I think you captured it.
Then good, let's take a
Shall I get a
roll call vote.
Mayor Calabi,
Aye.
Trustee Herzog,
Aye.
Trustee Cantino,
Aye.
Trustee Doro,
Aye.
and Trustee Murphy.
Okay, so by accepting that resolution, then we announce a public hearing for the January meeting,
That's right.
at which time we will then, with acceptance, make it into the zoning, update the zoning code.
Correct.
That's what it does. All right, good, so that's covered.
It's covered.
All right, so let's go to the other one, which is the NRI.
Vicky Herzog's,
Yeah, good. So why don't you make a motion?
Okay, I'll make a motion that we adopt, local law number 9, adopting the NRI of Millbrook as law. So just having it by resolution, which we did previously.
Now, we need to open, so make a motion to open public, I'll make a motion to open the public hearing.
Second.
Okay, good. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, the public hearing is now open to adopt the NRI into the village code. Any discussion about this? Basically for allowing us to include that as part of our climate smart community application. We get credit for it and consider that as part of a local law, which makes it more official. And something that the planning board and zoning board of appeals should, and must use in the decision they make about the development in the village.
This is not the
Well, and Pat's got a copy of the NRI, you can see it.
like.
Oh, you will read that.
So we'll just accept it, yeah, you better.
Multiple choice though, so it's easy.
Basically, what it'll do is, in order to get climate smart communities approval for moving to bronze level, you have points on different areas that you try to satisfy. And I can speak about the whole thing later on, but basically, you would get 8 points if this was just passed by resolution, you get 10 points if it's passed by resolution, and then if you adopt it as law. But it's not gonna change anything, because what's in this whole book boils down to facts and maps and things that have to do with our natural resources. The board and our other agencies like the planning board, they set policy. And there's no policy here, just facts and figures that they'll be used in order to make decisions.
So any other comments or questions? I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now Josh, we go straight to a vote?
Yes.
Okay, Sarah?
Mayor Calabi,
Aye.
Trustee Herzog,
Aye.
Trustee Cantino,
Aye.
Trustee Doro,
Aye.
and Trustee Murphy.
Okay. And Sarah, as soon as you're ready, we'll go to the bands for the water upgrade.
Alrighty.
Now, these should be pretty straightforward.
Yeah, we're just rolling them over.
Okay, so what do we need to do that? As a resolution?
Yes, I have the two resolutions.
Two of them.
Okay, fine, so Josh, I think we're all set.
Okay.
I think we can do it by ourselves. So that documentation is in front of you. Basically, the idea is that this is money we still have to pay off for the $2 million renovation we did to the water treatment plant a few years ago. We're allowed to roll over bans for 7 years. And the rollover term will end just about the time when the $500,000 bond was paid off. All right, so it kind of dovetails pretty nicely. Any questions regarding the bans? I need a vote for each one of them?
Yeah, I have one for the $200,000 and one for 500.
What happened was we got one for $550,000, and we found out we were short $200,000, so we had to go for a second bond like a year or two late. That's why there's additional 2 years we worked to convert to 200,000.
Right.
All right. So those questions, can we do we need a motion?
I just have a roll call.
Fine, roll call.
Mayor Coggy,
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Murphy,
Aye.
Trustee Herzog,
Aye.
Trustee Cantino,
Aye.
Trustee Doyle.
All right, good. Let's move on. Next topic is the status of the CSC application from Trustee Herzog.
Okay,
Is there a chart in there or not? Probably not.
I don't think I got it.
All right, that's fine. Okay.
okay, just quickly, I'm meeting with Mayor tomorrow, and we're gonna go over the final application in terms of all of the 2021 pledge element actions that we have taken and just finished, and the language that goes with it, so that we can, and hopefully send the document to Elizabeth's son at Hudson Valley Regional Council. We'll go over the priority one, not every one of the actions, but priority action, and just give us any feedback on things change and be our editor, so to speak. And then hopefully, once we get it back and make any changes, it'll then go to Albany, because once it goes to DEC, it's mailed as is, and you cannot make any changes. And then we'll either get approved for each individual pledge element action, or they'll send back something saying this doesn't qualify for us or whatever, and we can reapply later on with any pledge element once we update. But we have 146 potential points out of the necessary 120 that we're sending in, so we've got a bit of a buffer. If they take a couple and say we want more documentation or want this or that, we can still get the 120 out without having done anything.
Good. Any questions for Mike regarding the CSC application? Any questions from the audience about it?
Can't hear.
You can't hear?
And I'm sick of hearing.
Oh, okay, so we're gonna apply for the bronze status for unsmart communities. We're gonna do it early next year. We're working on a draft right now. We're gonna send to a member of the panel who will give us a critique before we submit the final version. That's it. Mike and I meet tomorrow to dot our i's and cross our t's. All right?
The panel is who?
The panel?
The Climate Smart Communities Task.
She's a member of the panel, and she's offered to do a critique by herself.
With the state or county?
She's with the Mid-Hudson Regional Council, which basically helps with being able to be a clearinghouse for people who are applying for things like clean energy community requirements or climate smart community requirements.
Thank you.
Okay, any comments from the public? General comments, questions? We've covered the matter. Anything else?
On anything else?
No.
Oh,
Well,
am I
no.
allowed to talk now?
No, no.
Oh,
Oh,
sorry.
sure.
The reason that we were all here, some people left, is that we wanted to congratulate you, Mayor Colby, for a very professional job. I've lived here for 30 years. I wasn't born here, but I've lived here a long time, and we've never had a mayor as professional as you. Your newsletter keeps everybody informed, and we feel like we're a part of what's going on here. And in the past, that's never happened, so thank you.
Well, anybody else have a comment? Okay. Board member updates, Deputy Mayor Murphy.
I'd like to, it's been an honor serving with you guys. It really has been. And when I first started, I was like, Honestly, I didn't know if I liked you guys. Now we are. Now we're all friends. Now, but no, I genuinely mean that. Like, it's been a real honor, and I love serving with you guys. And you guys, it's been very nice. And I feel like we've all worked together really well.
Yeah.
It's
Here's
been
your
awesome.
little-
Thank you guys.
Oh,
You taught me a lot, and it's been great working with you.
Okay, trustee Doran.
Just on the RLD to RU,
Yes.
I'm also working with Ken, and gonna be using the NRI to look at setbacks and other zoning requirements around lakes, streams, wetlands, other waterways within the village. Those are not as comprehensive as they could be, and as they are in other communities. So Ken has a good sense of what some of those numbers should be. So hopefully in the new year, we're gonna be doing a new local law that would expand setbacks, especially limit development around waterways.
I was just scared when we talk about going into the zoning, because that's like a, black hole, but that's a good idea. That's a good one. All right,
And then number two as well, I echo Patrick and the community, working with all three of you has been super productive, and I really appreciate all the good things we've done, so we'll be missed.
all right, thank you.
Definitely.
Thank you. Okay, trustee Herzog.
Yeah, just quickly, there's a pledge in action that's called zoning for, which will feed in directly to what you're saying you want to do with Ken. So just keep me involved in that process as part of Climate Smart, because as we do these kinds of things and are ready to adopt certain areas, with protections, and that fits right into exactly what they want us to do in a great manner to do the protections and, take care of itself. So just keep me informed.
Will do.
Three quick things. I attended a Town of Washington CAC meeting on Wednesday. We discussed 6 or 7 different items. Just for a year after I discussed how we're going to be applying for the bronze, they responded by telling me that the present Climate Smart Communities Task Force is working with the Cornell Cooperative Extension on doing a disaster preparedness plan, which would be almost an update of our emergency management plan. And we could incorporate things like being able to use the firehouse as a cooling center, because it's got generator capabilities, and in the summertime, they could provide, if there was a power outage or whatever, a space outside of the schools to be able to have residents come in. And Bob audited for that, and we haven't had formal discussions, but I think that's gonna happen down the road. So that's one of the things going into 2025, we'll probably involve updating our present emergency management plan into something like that. And they're doing the work for us in the sense that they're doing it through the Cornell Cooperative Extension now. And we can simply, jump on board with whatever actions they take and mirror with the right language and proposals next year. So that. Also, David Greenwood on the CAC retired in November. He was in charge of the CAC stuff since 1988, and I think as a village resident, and something should be coming up soon, and to give him some kind of award or some kind of recognition for the incredible amount of service that he has done for this community, not only as for the CAC, but as village historian, town historian, and I think that's something we have to be looking into soon. He's ill, and
He was the president?
I believe he was the chair of the original CAC.
Oh, okay.
Going back to 1988, so he's been doing this a long time.
Okay.
And, we owe him a lot. The other thing is, second item is our Tree City application is in the final stage review by the Arbor Day Foundation, and we expect approvals for that designation for 2024 imminently, so we'll let you know when that comes through. And finally, I asked on converting the decorative lights on Franklin Avenue on the Village Green for LED conversion. We do have the possible availability of a grant from Clean Energy Communities at Mid-Hudson Regional Council, which will probably pay for, if not all, a major part of it. I finally finished with them, and we sent a complaint because they had assured us that they would have to carry over with a new revised bill where we'd see savings by November, and it didn't happen. So that's fine. So, finally, I want to express my gratitude to the village residents for giving me the privilege of being your mayor for 5 months, deputy mayor for a year, and village trustee for 11.5 years. To the full-time village employees and part-time municipal officials who helped me carry out my duties, treating me with professionalism, patience, and respect, I say thank you, because they were essential to any accomplishment associated with my time on 3 or 4 different boards by the time I go through it all. I wish the new board members starting in 2025 good luck in your efforts on the village behalf, and say thank you for your service to our village.
Thanks, Mike. All right, trustee Contino, say the best for last.
Well, first of all, Patrick, I'm thrilled to hear that you like this movie.
Not only do I like you, I consider you friends now.
Now that we're very soon going to be private citizens, we know who to complain.
Never mind, I take that back.
I would like to echo what has already been said, just so that I can be on the record as well. I first of all want to thank the residents of Millbrook for giving me a 4.5-year opportunity to serve. It has really been, one of the privileges of my life, highlights of my life. I really enjoyed being on this board. I also would be remiss if I didn't thank Sarah and Nicole as the trustee and deputy, as the clerk and deputy, as well as all the department heads for everything they do. I am a newer, most of you know this, all of you know this, newer resident of Millbrook. I did not realize how committed and professional the staff were until I actually served on the board. So Scott, I thank you. Chief Dworkin, I'm so glad you're here. And people that left, I hope are here. How indebted I feel to them for anything that I may have accomplished, but also as I leave, knowing that they're running this town that I love so much. And thirdly, I have to thank the mayor and all of you for the opportunity to work with you. You are professional, committed. Everybody works so hard, and I've been very proud to be working alongside you, and I've learned so much from you. And I'm sure that you make me a better trustee. So thank you.
Okay, so to recap, the next board meeting will be on January 8th. And with that, I'll make a motion to adjourn. A second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you, and have a happy holiday, everybody.
You too.
Very good. Julian, check.